Hi guys, welcome back. This time I am recording the voice over in real time with my phone, so I don't know how the quality of the sound is going to be, but this is going to be the painting tutorial for the same drawing that I did for the sketching tutorial. I usually have a pre-selected palette that I started using once I painted one illustration and I really like those colors, so I just saved them, kind of like what you do with, I don't know, markers or things like that. I use this particular brush most of the time. I don't know where you can get this exact bag anymore because I got it with this artist course, but I have other brushes that could work in my blog post down below. So this is the base skin tone that I usually use. And I will start in a layer behind it. Usually at the start, I also change the color of the line art. I didn't do it because this is the problem for me if I'm trying to speak and draw at the same time. It's just I lose track of things, but let's do the base for the skin first and then I'll change the color of the line art. It's going to be a simple rendering tutorial. I'm not going to do anything crazy like lighting wise nor color wise. Mostly because my style is not usually that. Sometimes I try to be fancy or push myself from my comfort zone and try different styles or different colors or lighting moods, etc. But this is my most common style. I don't really like using the dropping tool, like color drop. Yeah, the color drop tool. I like to feel everything myself. So for the line art, I tend to use like a brownish grayish color. I'll fit the whole layer and just use clipping mask. I'll join them, duplicate, and the top one I'll put in overlay, and the bottom one that it's normal I will slowly, lower the opacity. So that way whatever color you put under it will change a little bit of the color and it will blend everything together better. Going back to the normal color layer, I usually pick this color for the shadows. Again, I'm not going to be using the reference picture. It's going to be a very simple rendering. So usually right here is where shadows get cast. For the purpose of the tutorial, I'm going to, I guess, darken all of these side. Let's make this smaller. Let's fill everything that would be in shadow. You can put in alpha lock the layer so you don't paint outside whatever you already have painted. I'm not going to be paying that much attention to the actual anatomy, so if the shadows are not super accurate, I'm not going to bother too much. Probably you can hear my parents talking. Okay, they seem to have shut up. Okay. If I want a darker shade, I will use this one, and I will deepen those shadows a little bit. I also think you can hear my neighbor screaming and singing. I hope not. But that's the reality that I face when I'm filming most of the time. Okay, I use this reddish tone for every place that has a lot of blood flowing, like the lips. So I would usually use this one and just build on top. I will put it a little bit in the bottom part of the nose and sometimes in the tip and in the bridge. I'll put it also around the eyes. And sometimes, depending on the drawing, I'll put it also a little bit on the cheeks, just a little bit at first. Oh, and the ears. I always neglect the ears. I don't like drawing ears. But yeah. For the eyes, I either use this color that I also use for the highlights, or I will use a grayish color. Here I am pressing less than in here. As you can see, this is the difference between one and another. To kind of carry over the shadows that we already put. And then I use that light color and put a little bit of like a highlight in the inner corner. Make it a little bigger and use very soft pressure to highlight that. Let's highlight also the nose, smaller. Just a little bit, and the top of the lip. I also like to add a little bit here in the cheek. And let's add a dark color for the eyes. Make it smaller and use it at the top to kind of deepen the eyelash and also cast the shadow for the eye. That's too much. Let's use the red for the inner corner of the actual eye. And that light color for this area of the eye. Here it should be a little bit of the white instead of the peachy color. In fact, I'm going to darken this lash line a little bit on the inside. This eye is a little bit too big compared to the other one. But it's fine. It will probably look better once I put the highlight there. For the hair, I honestly like to use another layer because I never know what I'm doing with the hair. I don't remember what hair color he had here. I guess I'm going to give him I don't know if he had dark color or not. I'm gonna give him a sand type of color. And I'm gonna use this one. It's also linked down below. You can actually buy it for sure. Sometimes I use the same brush that I used for the skin when rendering the hair, but I don't know, depending what texture I want or what finish I want, I'll use one or another. I still have a lot of trouble comprehending how to draw hair and paint hair, so do not take what I do as gospel. I'm just here trying my best. For the random strands, I use this one. That's too big. Usually here I would like to have the reference picture. But I'm a little bit too lazy to pull it out. I'm going to darken the color a little bit for the roots. That's too cool. I'm gonna warm it up a little bit. And I'm also going to alpha lock it. Make it warmer for transition and mid sections. Going back for a blondish color. And then a darker color. I usually just hope for the best. I'm actually going to pull the reference picture because I'm really lost. Okay, so he had black hair, which probably would have been easier for me to do, because I cannot really see the depth of the colors that well like this. But hey, I already made a choice. Of you is going to be darker. Let me pick the brown color. And it's going to be all of this. And all of this, and all of this, up to this. Let me quickly add some eyebrows. That's gonna help a lot. All of that should be darker. You can leave. I'm going to add some more shadows to the... Wait, did I change? Nope. To the forehead. A little more redness to the lips. Boom. I'm going to make the t-shirt this dark color that I use for the hair too. I usually pick, a pure white. I know there's a lot of like stigma with using pure white, but I just like how it looks. And give a couple highlights. Usually it's eyes, tip of the nose, and a glossy finish to the lips. Sometimes add a little bit in the inner corners and right here. I feel like this is too dark, so I'm gonna add a little bit here. Oh, this should be also like this. I should probably again add something to the ears. I always neglect them. Sometimes I use this darker red for the lips too, as a darker color. And again, whatever I used, the lighter red to show that there's a lot of blood flow there. I want to make this a little bit... Oops. Yeah, I was doing it in the wrong layer. That's fine. It's okay. Sometimes it's going to be more important things that you want to keep in different layers, but in this case I don't really mind much. Sometimes if I feel the line for the hairline it's a little bit too harsh, I will use the smudge tool just a little bit right here. Oh, that's too much. I should probably add a little more shadow to the hand. Realistically, all of these would also be in shadow. And that will be for the bangles. I don't know what color they wear, probably silver. So I put a little bit of gray. As you can see, I went outside the lines. I don't really care. I should probably study the proper lighting for metals, but not today. And so I usually use a mid gray, a darker gray, and then white for the highlights. I'll put some darker blobs some places, and then the white ones like somewhere around. And now that needs a shadow, so I'll add one real quick. Nothing too fancy. The t-shirt is really plain. I'm gonna use a little bit of a darker color and even bigger brush. Make some triangles, I guess. Wherever I feel like. and use the smudge tool. I just want to give it a little bit of depth. Nothing, again, this is a very simple tutorial. I'm not going to be very finicky with the details. It's just so I can show the gist of what the process for an illustration looks like. I'm gonna add a little bit of redness to when I use a bigger brush. Oh, this one is too opaque. Wait, I'll use this one. Here, down here, and maybe for the hands too. And I'm also going to add some flyaways, like proper flyaways, I guess. Is it? Nope. Okay. And some clear ones, or like lighter ones. Depending on what I'm drawing at the moment, sometimes what I do is in the background I'll pick a color. I don't know, I'll pick a baby blue, I guess, and just use it as a frame, kind of. I don't know where to put it. Maybe a little bit bigger, and right here. And I will add on the top layer. This is the paper-like texture that I use for the sketches when I post them. I'll add a gray, like a mid gray layer. Use noise. I'll scale it a little bit and put it in overlay, lower the opacity until I like the grain. This is a very light drawing, so I'll make the opacity a little bit higher. And yeah, this is how I paint. I hope this was helpful. Again, my painting process is very straightforward. I don't do much crazy stuff. It's very simple. So this is a very easy and quick tutorial to follow. So yeah, happy creating, guys.